I love Christmas. Wrapping presents and all that. And then somehow you wind up overcooking the turkey anyway. Done.
Carol is set in the early 1950s in New York, and it follows the unexpected love affair between two women of different ages and different social settings. Therese Belivet, in her early 20s, who's embarking on her life, meets Carol Aird, who's this alluring woman who's beginning to go through a divorce, single mother, a mother of one daughter. It's based on Patricia Highsmith's second novel, The Price of Salt.
When I read the script, I thought that it was a beautiful adaptation. I mean, people have been trying to make this for a long time, and it's hard because in the hands of, a not terrific screenwriter and then a not terrific director, you can end up with something that feels a little stodgy. But Phyllis's adaptation just really got to the heart of it.
Carol is a shadowy character, subjectively seen through Therese's lens in the novel, and I think the challenge that Phyllis has risen to and achieved beyond my wildest expectations was by bringing Carol to life on the page and giving her her own heartbeat.
Played it for you on piano at your house.
I remember. Thank you. Oh, God, don't. I look fried.
You do not. You look wonderful.
Well, working with actors at the caliber of Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara, it was a very tight schedule. We shot the film in 35 days. We had one extra day. Assurance 36, and they're always on their game, and so they bring everybody up to the place where they are because they're going to get it in the first take or the second take.
It's been incredible. I mean, I've loved Cate since I was 13 years old when I saw her in Elizabeth, and it was really scary coming here knowing I was going to be working with her because I've looked up to her for so long and idolized her and just think she's, beyond anything.
Rooney, who I'd never worked with before and had only seen in films and admired and heard great things about from other directors who'd worked with her, is just an impeccable talent. She really understood and beautifully calibrates that journey that this character takes. And I really think you see somebody within the course of sort of a 6 to 8 month span that the film addresses, growing up in front of your eyes and changing into somebody else.
It's really great to work with Sarah. I mean, it's really great to finally have her on one of our sets. Abby is sort of another version of a woman who has made certain choices for herself at a time when that was, next to impossible. And working with Kyle is really amazing because, Harge is a character in a lot of pain, and he's not a monster, but he could easily be played for one. And the empathy that he brings to it just makes the film that much richer.
You know what I think? I think 2 weeks from now, you're gonna be wishing that she's gonna get tired of you, and you're gonna wish that you would never.
You don't understand.
Oh, I do. I understand completely. You're in a trance.
I'm wide awake. I've never been more awake in my life. Why don't you leave me alone?
Carol, she's had a child, she's been in a relationship, she's been out of a relationship, she's had fallen in love with a woman. I mean, she's had many, many experiences that Therese, simply by the product of her age and her own environment, hasn't been through. So I think when Carol encounters Therese, I think she thinks she can be in control of it. And I think when you fall in love, really fall in love with anyone, you risk being out of control, and that's the thrill. you know, that's the intoxicating thrill.
Well, Therese is just a really young girl who's kind of, in a lot of ways, she's kind of alone in the world. You know, she doesn't really have a family, and she doesn't have that many friends, or she doesn't have that big of a community. You know, she has Richard, and when she meets Carol, that's kind of not her model, but it's kind of like, I think it really opens her world and her mind to what she could be like, or what her life could be like, and opens the door for the kind of life that she wants to have.
What I love about the way Phyllis and Todd have massaged the character of Harge away from the book is that it's not... He too is a product of his time and place, and he loves Carol deeply, and Carol loves him deeply, but it just hasn't worked. And he's trying to put Band-Aids on it so that he doesn't have to lose face with his family, or lose face with himself, or lose face at work. And they're all very human, relatable, understandable feelings that he's experiencing.
He also just looks so perfect in the period. He is built for the 1950s.
Due to budgetary concerns, and also New York isn't the 50s anymore, we were very fortunate to find a city in Ohio, Cincinnati, that is like caught in time and space. And what an eye-opener to see buildings and lobbies and even apartments, but more important, the skyline. So when you looked out a window, you saw a skyline that could have been New York in the 50s.
In this film, we really were looking more at the period photography that we encountered. Everything from photojournalism to art photography to advertisement from the early 1950s. And we shot the film on Super 16, which Ed and I used on Mildred Pierce. And I love that because it sort of more aggressively reinstates the cinematic grain.
The costumes and the hair and the sets, it's kind of everything. I mean, you can't really step into the world of the character until you kind of see what all that's about. You know, whenever I knew what my clothes were going to be like and what my hair was going to be like, that's really the thing that brings it all together.
Every minor detail of the props and Sandy Powell's wonderful costumes and the hair and makeup design, the atmosphere is palpable.
Therese Belavet. Carol. There's so many things I'd like audiences to take away. I mean, it's there's, you know, these extraordinary characters, particularly Carol, Therese, and Abby, and you know, what they experience and what they go through, and really, you know, as I keep kind of coming back to me, it's a story of really that fearlessness that inspires you to, you know, go into uncharted territory and live your life in a way you never thought possible.
I also think it's a film that's about the radicality of love to begin with. And in that way, it's something everybody can relate to.
We gave each other the most breathtaking of gifts.